you're welcome to ask me any questions if you might have any. Like Larry said, we have some good deals over here today, and we have samples over here of the pipe tobaccos if you want to try them out. And
any other questions for Erik?
How long is the tobacco making process?
Well, to make a blend, it's usually a day's. It happens over a day, but or to make a blend, you have the initial step of the production, and you make a blend in the production during a day, and then it sits for like 4 or 5 days before it's actually packed. So if you take everything together, maybe a week, and also depending on what blend you want to make, because if it's a flake tobacco, it takes longer. It takes a couple of weeks. So, yeah. Yes, sir.
Just a quick question. So, before you guys moved into pipe, primarily did cigars?
My grandfather did a lot of cigars, yeah. He did a lot of cigars, and we did a lot of snuff and chewing tobacco also. There's a brand, some of you guys may have heard of it, called Oliver Twist. It's a little chewing tobacco, little pieces of tobacco, and he actually started that brand. So, so he did a lot of that, yeah. And some pipe tobacco, but it really wasn't the focus at that time, because pipe tobacco was, it was here, but it wasn't as big of a business as it was later on in the 50s and 60s. Yeah.
You sell bulk tobacco for blending?
Bulk tobacco for blending. Well, that's a good question. I mean, depending on what you're looking for, are you looking for just almost like leaf tobaccos that you blend on your own, or because a lot of people, they'll take X blend and this blend and that blend and blend it yourself, So, but we do sell loose tobaccos, not under this brand, but on another brand, yeah.
Other people use your brand to make their
Do you supply other companies?
Oh, I see what you mean. To other like manufacturers, if you will. No, not really. Mm-hmm. No, not really.
local stores, anybody using that?
Not really. No, not really. No. Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
When your father was here, and then we used to buy the bulk for the stores.
Yeah. Is that what you were referring to? The bulk tobacco, the 5 pound?
Right.
Oh well, yes. The bulk tobacco is still being done, but it's not being done under the same company that I'm affiliated with any longer, because the name Peter Stokebby was actually a trademark, and we sold the company back in '93. And that company now, which is Lane Limited, Scandinavian Tobacco Company, they produce that under the Peter Stokebby name now, in bulk and in pre-packaged also. It's different company, yes.
So now you're 4th generation?
I'm 4th generation, yes. Yeah.
What blends do you have here tonight?
The 5 blends we have over here is 2 aromatics. The 1957 and the 1897 are 2 aromatics, relatively mild, with some black Cavendish in it, or in one of them, the 1897. And then we have the 1882, which is an English blend, Virginias, some Orientals, and some Latakia. And then we have the Navy Flake, which is a flake tobacco, which we were just talking about. And then we have the 1855, which is an all-mature Virginia, all-natural mature Virginia, and those two, the Navy Flake and the 1855, those are going to be a little more, they're going to have a little more body to them when you smoke them, particularly the Navy Flake. Whereas the aromatics are lighter, milder in smoke.
You mentioned it, but what do the numbers mean?
Oh yeah, so the numbers mean that the numbers are the birth years of the 4 generations.
So 1957 was your birth year.
Yeah, exactly. My father, and then my grandfather, and my great-grandfather. And the 1882 is the year the company was founded. Yeah. So it's about the heritage of the family in the pipe tobacco. Yeah.
Now, here's something you mentioned today that I didn't even know, and that was black Cavendish. And you said that it's actually a heating process. Does that apply to, let's say, plain Cavendish black? Are they that black Cavendish is a heating process too? It's not.
It's a heating and steaming. Now each factory, each company does it a little bit different. So we did it our way. Lane is probably doing it a little bit different, but it's really, in essence, it's a heating, steaming process that turns the tobacco black. So it's really a maturing process, if you will. And it makes the tobacco very mild when you do that.
Do they start with what? Virginia, Burley?
For the black Cavendish?
Yeah.
For the most part, I mean, I can't say for every manufacturer because I don't know, I'm not exactly sure what they put in it, but for the most part it's Virginia tobaccos. Yeah.
Now, Lane's Captain Black, isn't that Green River Burley?
They use some, yeah, they use some. I mean, I don't know if they still do, but that's true. That they did use something that was a little bit different. Most of the European manufacturers, they use just Virginia tobaccos. But you're right that Lane.
American manufacturers are using Burley.
It is kind of a Burley. Yeah, Green River. It's grown, I think, close to the Missouri border, Tennessee. Yeah, it's not a true Burley because I think there are some. I think it's stronger. You know, than a normal Burley. But the process of the steaming process makes it mild. Yeah.
And when do they add their flavor on the steaming process?
No, they do that towards the end.
Towards the end,
Yeah.
they add their flavor.
Yeah.
And after they turn it black.
Yes. And then they start, and that's when you blend in, like if you want to blend in some light Virginias or something else, that's when you blend everything together, and then you add the flavorings.
Now, let's say in a mixture you could have you have different colored tobaccos, obviously. In your casing process itself, is it all being added at the end? Or let's say you've got a light brown tobacco and you've got a black tobacco. Is the casing process different for each one, then they're mixed together? Or is it
Yeah, the casing process is something that's done in the initial phase of the manufacturing. So if you're producing blend X, and then next day blend Y, and then a black Cavendish, and after those are produced, you can take those 3 and blend them again into a finished products. Yeah, so.
Like almost all your tobaccos are Virginias.
Yes, except the Navy Flake has quite a bit of Kentucky in there. So, but pipe tobacco in general is mostly Virginias. Yes. It used to be, if you go back in the U.S., if you go back 80 to 100 years, it was a lot of Kentucky tobaccos like Sir Walter Raleigh and some of these older brands. They used a lot of Kentucky tobacco. But that really, it changed in the 50s and the 60s. They went away from that and started using more and more Virginia tobaccos because Virginia tobaccos are easier to work with. They also have a natural sugar content. Burley does not have any sugars in it. So it's a better tasting tobacco. And the same thing happened with a lot of the cigarette manufacturers also, actually. They used to use a lot of Burley and changed into Virginia tobaccos.
Like tobacco, like up and coming, or is it kind of?
Well, it's been, the biggest year I want to say was maybe 74, 75, and then it was on the decline ever since. I think right now it's kind of plateaued out in its decline. So I think it's stable, I would say. But it's not. We're seeing a little bit of growth here and there, but it's not declining as it used to be. And I think that there are a lot of younger guys coming into it and want to try it out, which is a good positive sign. Yes.
You can see it here tonight.
Yes.
It's showing up.
Yeah.
You gotta-
Exactly.
I can see it.
It's great to see younger faces. That's why I was asking.
Yeah.
20-year-olds are back.
Yeah. Exactly.
If you go to pipe shows, you see a lot of young people coming to pipe shows.
Yeah.
You know, 3-4 years ago,
Yeah.
I never saw any. Now there's a lot of young people coming to pipe shows.
Yeah. A big volume of pipe tobacco is a lot what like CVS and the Walgreens and so forth are selling, but the profile of the guys who are buying that are much older. They're like in the 60 plus age group, and those guys are eventually going to fall off. I think that the younger guys that are coming into it are much more interested in experimenting with different tobaccos, i.e. flake tobaccos, all the ginger tobaccos, and so forth. So it's a different ginger who's coming into it. Yeah, which is good. It's really good.
Well, everybody will do the raffle here.
All right.
Before we do,